Hey everyone, it's Brittany Valadez here for bravelydaily.com. All right, you guys, so I don't know if any of y'all have missed me. I hope so. I've been gone for a while, maybe like a few weeks, about a month actually, off of YouTube. And if you haven't noticed, I have a great farmer's tan, but it's because I was in Honduras with an amazing organization called World Gospel Outreach that I am excited to say that I am a part of. And they are a fantastic Christian ministry, and I was there doing some video work for them. And if you guys could do me a huge favor, and them, would you subscribe to them on YouTube? Please, please do. We're trying to build up their YouTube channel right now, and also follow them on Instagram and Facebook. And you may see yours truly popping out in a good amount of their videos because I love them and I'm working with them now. So this is the reason why this video is a little behind, because I've kind of, been out of the country. But before we get into the video, I have a couple of things that I want to mention. Anytime you guys are watching my videos, anything that I am wearing, I will put in the description as well. So for right now, I'm actually wearing a tan halter top by The Drop on Amazon. I am an Amazon influencer, so I'm excited to announce that here in this video, and I will put a link in the description box. Also, if you like this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I am so grateful for your subscriptions. Really helps me out. Also, don't forget to follow me on social media. It's pretty much at Brittany Valadez everywhere. All right, friends, so the purpose of this video is we're going to be discussing an interview that Hailey Bieber did with a comedian named Yvonne Orji. Now, yes, that's her actual last name. I know. But anyways, okay. There's a reason why we're going to be talking about this video. First of all, if you guys watch my content, we talk about theology and entertainment. For those of you who don't know my background, I actually worked in Hollywood for over almost a decade, since I was like a teenager. I've been in there, working in there for a long time. So me being a Christian and of course working in the mainstream industry, it's obviously important that I talk about topics like this. In addition to my background in entertainment journalism, I am also a Christian apologist. I'd say budding, because I'm learning. You can never be too much into the faith. Anytime you open the Bible, you read something different and you learn something different. Now, I want to have a disclaimer. I want to encourage everyone, no matter where in your faith, never to stop searching, never to stop reading, never to stop growing in Christianity. So in Hailey's case, I can kind of understand why she thinks the way she does in certain things, or why she may say the way she does, but that doesn't mean that I agree with everything that she says. And I'm going to share with you what I think is biblically, factually correct, and what I think we need to work on. As Christians, we are called to edify one another and uplift one another, and call out things that maybe need to be worked on. So don't look at this as an attack on Hailey Bieber. I admire her and Justin for being bold about their faith in Hollywood. But there are some things that they may have gotten biblically incorrect. So we're going to talk about that now. I have never heard of Yvonne. I've never seen the show that she's on, or have not read the book that she is promoting. So I'm just going to talk about the interview and things that are being said in this particular interview. That's another disclaimer. Okay, let's get started.
I'm the child of immigrants. I thought I was going to be a doctor, but my last name is Orji, so can you imagine paging Dr. Orji to gynecology? I was like, you know what? Nah. I should definitely be a comedian. When God told me to do comedy, I kind of had this back and forth. I was like, nah, fam, you don't know me. That's also how I talk to God. Nah, fam, you don't know me.
Yvonne, who's a comedian, talks about when God told her to be a comedian. Now, God can speak to us in many different ways, but I want to caution anyone who says, God told me. We always want to say, I believe God said, because sometimes we can hear our own opinion, and other times we can hear Satan talking to us. We want to make sure that it's really God. And how do we know that it's God? I'm going to link some videos in the description that will help you find out if it's really God. And a lot of times it's what it is, and it's God. It's number one, going to come true. And number two, there's going to be a lot of outside evidence supporting that decision from God. Also, there are times when the Lord will bless us with talents, and you will see pop stars that will go up there and have the raunchiest lyrics, but thank God for their award. Now, did God really give them that award, or did he give them the talent? So God will bless us with talents, but it's how we use them that matters. So I'm not saying that God didn't tell her that she was going to be a comedian. Maybe he did. But I just want to caution anyone that thinks, oh, God told me, or I'm going to give credit to God for this award or this, I don't know, this promotion that I got. Did you get that promotion because you cheated your way to the top? Did you get that award blaspheming God's name? Like, we got to think about that, fam.
Which I think is so amazing, because it's like people think there's like a certain way where you need to have this certain type of relationship with God, but like, he's our friend.
Now, there's a point where Hailey says that she thinks it's amazing because people assume that there's like a certain way that you have to have a relationship with God. And she goes, but he's our friend. And she's right. We are friends of God when, that's what he wants us to be.
Cut to 2020, I released my first HBO comedy special. Mama, I made it! Yes!
Mama, I made it, she said. I just want to remind you guys, remember that song by Francesca Battistelli? What does it say? He knows my name. Yes. You don't have to make it, to be the host of the Today Show or have your own show, an HBO comedy special to make it. Because a lot of times when it comes to, remember, as Christians, we don't live for this world. We live for the next. So sometimes when we look at what the world standard of success is, it's not actually what God would see as success, because a lot of times it could be raunchy, crude, or offensive, But I mean, hey, I understand what she's saying. I'm not trying to take it out of context or trying to be that Christian who just like condemns everyone. No, because there was times when I got things in my career that I was so excited for that maybe, I don't know, wasn't the most God honoring. As I worked in my career, what I started seeing as making it, definitely. But he's also not just our friend, he's our Lord, he's our Father, he's so many other things. And there's no specific way in general to have a relationship with God, meaning like you don't necessarily have to pray at 3 p.m. every Friday in order to have that relationship with God. No, we can all speak to God. We don't need a mediator. We can go directly to him. But it gets fishy when we start saying we can believe whatever we want and say we love and worship God. You guys have noticed I have this fantastic makeup brand right here. I'm wearing it. It's called Merit Beauty. I find myself just really not wanting to put on makeup. I mean, I have to for YouTube videos, but I am super lazy, okay? But also I'm trying to embrace just, what God gave me. I'm getting excited in my own skin. And that's what I love about this makeup. And I'm genuine when I say I loved it. In fact, every single video that you will see me in Honduras, I was wearing Merit Beauty. So these are foundation sticks. They are the Perfecting Complexion Stick. I got one in a African-American black woman's color, and then I got one in my color. I actually got another one too for when I'm tan, a little more tan. So I use it. I love it because it's both a foundation and a concealer. I use it on my face. Obviously I have it on now. And then I use this as a contour stick. I love the coverage. It covers, a lot of the things that I want to hide, but it also just looks like my skin. Now, if you're wondering what I'm wearing on my lips, it's this tinted lip oil in the color Au Naturel. I also got this shade in a shade that I am going to terribly mispronounce, Macarech. Oh, I'm so sorry. I butchered it really bad. Oh, you guys, I can't. Okay. Their highlighting balm. This, I'm wearing it. And I got it in the shade Cava. I'm not sure what it is. Thank you to Merit Beauty. You're probably going to be seeing me wearing this makeup in, all my videos. Oh, I did forget one thing. I'm actually wearing their eyebrow. It looks like a mascara, but it's for your eyebrows. I'm wearing that. I will also put that in the description box below.
You're an actress. You're on this show where you are doing sex scenes and cursing and doing things that a lot of people who are Christian would probably see that and be like, oh, well, you're not a real Christian because you're doing sex scenes and you're doing this. And in a similar way, sometimes I'll, for my job, I have to show skin or I'll get photographed in like underwear or lingerie or like something, and people are like, well, that's not a good representation because you're not modest and you're not this. And
well, first let me just say, God knew who he could trust with certain bodies, because if I had your body, I would wear pasties to church every day.
Oh my God.
Just crop tops and pasties.
Okay, so next we get to the topic where Hailey is talking to Yvonne, and she's addressing the fact that Yvonne maybe has done some like sex scenes and stuff. And she goes, there's people that will criticize it and say that it's not really Christian. Like they come after me for posing, and when I say me, I'm talking about Hailey. They'll come after her for posing in underwear, and she goes, it's like part of my job where I have to wear certain things. I just want to say this. We never have to do anything that we don't want to. Now, I can feel for Hailey, because there's been times in my career where I have compromised and done stuff, either being naive to it, scared, or thinking, I just got to do this, or if I don't do it, I'm not going to make it. Okay, so I understand the nervousness and why people do that, because I've done it myself. It doesn't make it right. Looking back, I would change a lot of things in my career, but I'm also so grateful that God saved me from a lot of things. And I would say that to Yvonne and Hailey, you know, who are we looking for as a standard of, are we making it? If we're looking to the world, well then yes, less clothes, more nudity, more raunchy, keep doing it. That's what the world wants. But what does it strip you of? Play on words, I guess. Your dignity. Our dignity is so important, because that's stuff we can't get back. And there's so many times that we women feel that if we want to get a guy, we have to dress a certain way. Like, again, I am not against dressing cute. You know, some women may feel that a halter top or a spaghetti strap is inappropriate. And I just think that we have to be modest. We want to cover parts that, we don't want to put on full display. We have to be wise, balanced, but I'm not going to get into a whole fashion video. I actually can do a fashion video because I love fashion in a separate video. But with this, my point is, I don't want us to think that we cannot say no. And they go on later in the interview to talk about, like Yvonne brings it up, that she would do some stuff because she goes, they're going to give the job to someone else. My advice, let them.
So I remember before even signing the contract, there like item 7 was like the nudity waiver. And I called one of the producers to just be like, do you think she's going to be naked? And Molly read as just this corporate chick who can switch from, C-suite to like the hood. There was only one episode written, so we hadn't gotten to her backstory. I asked a question and I felt comfortable signing, but then obviously, more episodes are written. Molly has a sex scene. I'll never forget season 1, like episode 6, and I was like, this is happening. But by then, like, I'm the one you cast. Like, it's like I had been telling them all season, like, y'all know I can't show my mama's still alive. Like, I don't want to be taken out the will. I made like a 4-minute compilation video to be like, this is what I'm comfortable with, because I also knew I couldn't go in there and be like, I'm a Christian, I love Jesus, so what I'm not gonna do. They'd be like, great, let's recast her now. So I had to meet them where they were in order for me to understand how to help them meet me where I was. Because I was nervous, like they're gonna be like, here's where the road ends. Right. Thankfully, like that was not the situation.
Because unfortunately, in this industry, that does happen a lot.
If you're even actually considering doing a job because you think, well, it's going to make me more famous, I'm going to get more money, I'm going to get recognition, etc., and you are seriously considering, and then you want to say yes, you need to question where your relationship with God is. In my own life, at the beginning, I'm like, well, if I do want to make it here, or if I do want to achieve this dream, I should probably do this. And okay, I kind of will do it, and then I'll feel guilty. But then as I started becoming that true friend of God, getting in the Word, getting to know Him better, I wanted nothing to do with any of those interesting opportunities, should they have came. I didn't want anything to do with it. And also, the Holy Spirit would convict me even more. If anything, I'm like, Lord, I look at it now and I see what He saved me from. He really watched out for me. Maybe He was like, I'm not even going to allow someone to present her that opportunity. I'm just going to keep her away from it. Again, as I grew in my faith, what I considered as making it really changed. I was no longer chasing after this world standard of fame and popularity. I started looking at Hollywood from the outside in, and I'm like, do I really like it? Do I really want to be here? And another thing, You may say, well, Brittany, you don't have anywhere near as many followers as Hailey Bieber. She is plastered everywhere. She blows her nose. It's front page news. Trust me, I don't want her life. I worked in that field from the entertainment journalism side. I've seen the paparazzi. I've seen firsthand how they hound these people. And I've seen how reporters will take headlines based off a picture and be very creative with what they say. I don't want her life. And I look at her and I also see a struggle. If you guys don't know anything about Hailey, her dad is an outspoken conservative Christian. In today's world, to be a conservative Christian, oh gosh, you are basically outlawed, like for real outlawed. So I know that she feels that anything she says can and will be used against her because it will. Teenagers will go at her in the comments, maybe even stay-at-home moms or old adults will just say anything they want to Hailey. And so she's scared, she's worried, oh no, if I say this, it's going to be taken this way. Or some journalist will pull a tweet or pull a photo or a caption and just write a story about it and distort what she says. That is true.
Your relationship with God is not going to be the same as mine. And not the same as yours or any other person in this room or in the world. Like, we all have different relationships and ways that we relate to the Bible and relate to Jesus. And to me, my relationship with Jesus is, I believe that he was about love and acceptance.
A lot of times in Hollywood, I find those that call themselves Christian are more progressive Christian. So a progressive is someone who kind of stands in the middle. They don't want to be one way or the other because they don't want to offend. What does the Bible say about being lukewarm? That he will spew us out of his mouth. We don't want that. We're either for the world or we're against it. And in this case, with her stance on gay marriage, homosexuality, a lot of other things that she talks about, it's very much like, well, Jesus loves you. You do what you want. Jesus is love. Jesus came down to save us from our sins. In fact, I've said this before in many videos, or at least one, that the one who talked the most about hell in the Bible was Jesus Christ. Why? Because he doesn't want us to go there. He didn't say, hey, if you feel like this is okay, you do you, boo. You do you. If you think that you love somebody of the same sex because that's what you feel, that's cool. You do you. If you want to gossip with all your friends about what that girl is wearing because it's ugly, you do you. It's fine. If you want to. No, that's not what Jesus came to do. He came to save us from our sins. We are called to be different from the world. To be one with God is to be an enemy of the world. But when you find yourself in the Word, Hailey, I suggest when you study apologetics, you will know that what you believe is true. Because I was where she was once. Well, I know this is true. I feel it. I know it. But you can believe what you want and it's okay. I understand. It's okay. But that's because I didn't know that what I actually believed was actually true. Once we start studying the apologetic side of it, answering the hard questions, we start getting more solid and firm in our faith. And we're able to talk to others and in love. And we're able to kind of deal with that resistance that they give us.
If I end up seeing a comment that's like, you're this and you're a and then I click on their page and it's like, Mom of 4, Philippians 4:13, married, wife, God-fearing woman, and I'm just like, huh?
How is that showing the love of God? How is that winning souls?
It's just what turns a lot of people off, I believe, to church. I've met Christian people that are just super judgmental and make me feel like I'm a bad person because I don't live my life the way they think I should live my life. And I felt weird about posting certain photos of myself or feeling like people in the church are gonna see this. Am I doing something wrong? Am I setting a bad example? And the reality is no.
She kind of talked about on social media that, somebody might come and attack her and call her an ugly name, and then she'll click on their profile and they'll be like, oh, Mama 4, Philippians 4:13, Christian, God-fearing, blah, blah, blah. And then she's like, you just wrote a really ugly comment on my page. Really? And then she goes on to say that sometimes I feel like that turns people off from going to church or from being involved in the church or Christianity maybe in general, because she goes, I've met people who are judgmental and they may look at me like, oh, why would you do this or that? But I want us to stop and think for a moment. Can people be judgmental? Absolutely. But sometimes, are they being judgmental, or are we just feeling convicted? A lot of times we don't want to admit when we're feeling convicted, and we want to just accuse someone else of being judgmental. Now, for those who are looking at her, and maybe you're close to her and have something to say to her, or maybe you're watching this and you are thinking of a girl or a guy who isn't living their life so great, and you want to say something to them, you have to think of when it's appropriate to say it and how to say it, because you do want to come in love, like you're trying to help them. You know, it's all about how we approach things, because we, as Christians, we shouldn't shy away from constructive criticism. Now, we do want to avoid people who are just disgusting and rude and terrible, because they have nothing else better to do but just to criticize you. And we don't want to be that person either. But someone who is coming in love, trying to help us, that's a different story.
The conversation is just don't have sex. It's like, okay, but okay, so what kind of like relationship should I have with myself and with like a significant other? Like, give me the well-rounded tools to be able to navigate whatever this journey is.
You know, the way I was brought up, it was like, you're not gonna have sex until you're married. It's just because I'm not. Because I'm not. Because the Bible says don't.
Yeah.
And like, there not being any more of a bigger in-depth conversation of like both sides of it. If you do, here's this conversation, and if you don't, here's this conversation. Let's talk about both scenarios.
Now, if you say, hey, listen, choice is yours. I'm gonna give you all the full gamut, right? Now I can have a conversation and I can decide like, okay, maybe I wanna wait till marriage. Maybe I wanna wait till I'm 18. Maybe I wanna wait till I'm in a committed relationship.
Maybe I don't wanna wait at all. Because there's that side of it too.
I agree with both of them, with Yvonne and Hailey, that a lot of times growing up, we're not given the good sex talk. It's always like, don't have sex until you're married, and that's it. But like, what do you do when you're with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, and then you start feeling a certain way? Or how do you resist temptation when it comes around you? What do you do? A lot of times parents are leaving that conversation out because they think it's awkward or anything like that, when actually that's what we need to be talking to our kids, our cousins, our brothers and sisters, friends and family about, because it's a reality. God created us as sexual beings. So when we're put in that situation, what are we going to do? At school, you have drills about if there's a tornado. Unfortunately, now if there's a school shooting, what are we going to do? But if we just go in there and we just one day there's a tornado or an earthquake or a school shooting and we're not prepared, literally, what do we do? So I agree that there needs to be a stricter conversation with others about sex and about what to do if you're faced with that situation. We need to talk about why we need to wait till we're married, the different consequences, morally, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. Talk about it all. Make sure the person is able to ask any question that they want to ask, and make sure that they're not feeling judged, but that they're being educated. And we should always encourage another person to wait until they're married. As believers, that's what we're called to do. I think I can definitely make a video on why I think it's important that we should wait until we're married. The most obvious reason being because the Bible calls us to do it. But that's not the only reason. There's multiple reasons why God says to do things. Not because he doesn't want us to have any fun and he's just boring. That's not the case at all.
It takes so much courage to be your most authentic self when you have millions of people thinking they know who you are, when they have no idea. Thinking they know how they would handle situations if they were you, when they could never be you.
So I do agree with Yvonne at the end where she talks about, you know, Hailey, so many people would say, oh, if I lived her life, I would do that differently, whatever. We don't know what we would do until we're in someone else's shoes. And honestly, I bet you a lot of us, if we had the paparazzi and the fame, like paparazzi in our face and the fame at our doorstep, like Hailey does, we probably wouldn't be making the best decisions. We probably would backslide a lot, and we probably would be a Peter sometimes. So we don't want to hate her for that, and we want to understand that the reality is that maybe some of us, but it doesn't have to be. And we want to encourage her when she's doing good. So when she's doing good, encourage her, you guys, and go to both of them. Wow, I'm so proud of you for standing up for this or for doing that. That's great. Or maybe they're posting photos where they're not so appropriate, like topless or whatever, but they're covering themselves. You know, everybody has a right to say anything. We have to figure out if it's appropriate and if it's kind and if we're doing it in a loving way. Attacking someone and calling them ugly names is never going to get them to listen to you. In fact, you'll push them farther away from Jesus. But we do have to call out our brothers and sisters when it's appropriate and do it in love and expect them to do the same to us when we fail.
And so when he brought me to Hollywood, I was like, all right, fam, so what does this look like? And so we had conversations of like, all right, is cursing off limits? And he was like, nah.
I think I also like take a place where I'm like, okay, I wouldn't want to ever be shot naked, but like props to any woman that's comfortable doing that.
I definitely did get Christians who were like, I just don't understand how you can say you love God and still, and I'm like, I'm high-key making it easier for the next Christian who wants to enter this field. When they deal with a director or a production company, they can be like, we know how to work with you. A pastor of mine said, if you're the only Jesus that some people will ever see, is God in trouble?
I'm not the one that can do the persuading, you know what I mean? It has to be God that persuades somebody's heart to believe in what I believe.
But see, in you doing your job by just being your most authentic self, it's like your life being happy, your life being the version of it that you want it to be, it's the thing that'll attract somebody to be like,
What is
okay,
it about?
what is it? Like, okay, well, if I don't know where to go to find the answer, if I'm not gonna pick up the Bible, I see a walking version of the Bible. And so your life is a ministry, whether you want it to be or not.
Friends, so thank you so much for watching this video. I want to know, what are your thoughts on pieces of this interview? Was there something that Hailey said that you agreed with or didn't agree with? And the same with Yvonne. Just anything you have, any idea, any thought, let me know what you think about this interview in the description, in the comment section below. Don't forget to follow me on social media at Brittany Valadez, pretty much everywhere, and check out my website, bravelydaily.com. Until next time, I'm Brittany Valadez. God bless, and I'll see you in the next one.